Jesus 911, two-man call. We're talking about the pontificate of now deceased Pope Benedict the 16th. And the legacy that he's left, I mean, both good and bad. Everybody leaves, none of us, all of us are here on planet Earth, but those of us that follow Christ, we are saints whose halo is still being sandblasted.
Good.
So
that's
again,
a great point, Jess.
Right. It's being sandblasted. We're not perfect yet. And so, all of us make missteps. But so we're pointing out some of the good things he's done. There'll be some bad things. I'm sure the article will point some out. It says this, Paul: prior to ascending to the papal throne in 2004, Ratzinger intervened in a debate among the U.S. bishops on the issue of communion for pro-abortion Catholic politicians. He said in his letter, titled, quote, "Worthiness to receive Holy Communion," close quote, that a Catholic politician who would vote for permissive abortion and euthanasia laws after being duly instructed and warned must be denied communion. So one thing I have to say about him, about Pope Benedict, he was very strong on the issue of the pro-life issue, and on not being able to receive the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ if you were a pro-abort Catholic. He was doggedly determined and wrote about this and spoke about this anytime the opportunity presented.
And, that was one of the
that
was one of the great things that he did. And I'll tell you, there's so much pressure on our bishops worldwide to just conform and to give in to, the common
of the age.
Political view. The zeitgeist of the time. Now you would think that, we're the church. It doesn't work like that. But no, it does work that way. But in order, when you get a man like Benedict the 16th, who strongly voiced his opinion in those areas, it's just many bishops need to follow his lead today.
Yes,
and being strong in these things, because he was right on point. He was right on the mark on those issues.
Yeah, he was right on point. Also, very strong on the issue of homosexuality, Paul. If you want to share his position on that, his stance on homosexuality.
Yeah, and by the way, this is Pope Benedict the 16th stance, not Paul Clay's, not Jess Romero. So let's read it here.
Yeah.
While he was prefect, the CDF issued its letter on the pastoral care of homosexual persons, noting that a homosexual inclination itself must be seen as an objective disorder. Therefore, special concern and pastoral attention should be directed toward those who have this condition, lest they be led to believe living out of this orientation in homosexual activity is a morally acceptable option, added Ratzinger. It is not. This position, he echoed in later documents, and more notably during his 2012 Christmas address, his Christmas address to the Roman Curia, when he appeared to denounce same-sex marriage and criticize those who dispute the idea that they have a nature given by their bodily identity that serves as a defining element of a human being. After his resignation, he issued an essay in which he explicitly spoke against homosexual cliques in seminaries, which acted more or less openly and significantly changed the climate in the seminaries. Jess, this is huge stuff right here, and this has been a problem in the church. So his statement, going back to his first statement, pray that I don't flee the wolves. You think this stuff had anything to do with it?
Absolutely. He knew that the church had been infiltrated at this point by a lot of homosexuals and Marxists and Masons. He was quite aware of this because he'd been in the Vatican for years, decades actually, and he knew that this was one of the final battles that the church would be fighting until the second coming of Christ. And and just 2 years after that, he attacked the rise of same-sex marriage, saying that in 16 European states of homosexual marriage has led to a deformation of conscience that extends beyond the secular realm, having penetrated deeply into the world of marriage in several of the Catholic people. Wow. Again, his finger was on the pulse. Yeah, on those topics that God calls an abomination in Scripture, Pope Benedict was a great defender of orthodoxy, and he'll be known for that. You have right now a lot of the mainstream media, a lot of the secular press. They call him a hater, that he hated homosexuals. Nothing could be further from the truth. He loved them so much he was willing to tell them the truth. And again, the mainstream media, they call the truth hate speech. And so right now, if anything right now you look in the mainstream media in reference to Pope Benedict, they'll say, good riddance that he's gone. He hated people that are into their reproductive rights, and he hated homosexuals. Again, this talk about smearing somebody. This is the farthest thing from the real Pope Benedict, who loved God more than anything else, and loved people enough to tell people the truth so that their soul could be saved.